Hi everybody, it's Sandy here again. It is Sunday, November 26, 2017, and I am back for an update video. I want to say that I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I certainly did. My husband and I went to my brother and sister-in-law's house, and we had a really nice meal. She had her mother there and a couple of her brothers and family, and so it was a lot of fun. And I didn't have to cook a turkey. I haven't cooked a turkey in so many years that I don't even know if I'd know how anymore. But it was a nice holiday. Let's see what else has been going on. I wanted to give you an update on Olivia. I had told you in my last video that my great niece, Olivia, had been diagnosed with leukemia, and she is home now. She got to come home for Thanksgiving. She was in the hospital from November 3rd all the way to I think the day before Thanksgiving. She was able to come home. She does have the type of leukemia that is, I don't want to say easy to treat, but it's the future prognosis is a lot brighter for this particular type of leukemia. Her parents say that it's probably a 3 to 4 year road that she's going to have. She's currently on a 28-day regimen of steroids, which her mother says is changing her personality drastically. She's become very irritable, very hard to get along with. She's also been having chemo treatments. But we live in northern Ohio, and we're not really close to Cleveland, but probably from my house, it's probably all the hospitals like Cleveland Clinic, university hospitals, Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. If you've ever heard of any of these, they're all world-class hospital centers. They're probably about an hour and a half from my house. And we are truly blessed to be this close to these types of places. There's also Metro General in downtown Cleveland, which is a well-renowned trauma center. My nephew was life-flighted to Metro many years ago when he was in a terrible car accident and had a really bad brain injury. And he was there for months, but it's a fantastic place. Also, my brother, when he had his brain aneurysm several years ago, he was taken to University Hospital, and he was there for months also, but he did recover, probably because we are in close proximity to these wonderful places. Olivia herself was at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, and they are renowned for the work that they do for babies, their neonatal unit and things like that. So we are truly blessed to have these in a close proximity. Please, if you're a praying person, please continue your prayers for her. Her family will deeply appreciate that. Okay, what else has been going on? In the last video I said my hip had been bothering me, and I finally made it in to see the orthopedic doctor, and he's a Cleveland Clinic doctor. We have, they brought these clinics and stuff out to our area here, so in about a 15-minute drive, we can see a Cleveland Clinic doctor. Also university doctors and so forth. They're all out in this area now. Here what I thought was my hip joint was actually something called an IT band. And I guess it's a band of muscle that runs from your hip, attaches to the hip, and then runs to the knee and attaches to the knee. And they said I had inflammation in that, and that was what was causing my pain. So I got a cortisone shot, which helped tremendously, really quickly, within 24 hours. And also I am going for physical therapy. They told me I need to strengthen up my insides. I've never been a really strong person. I'm not athletic, and they told me I need to strengthen up all those muscles inside, something about the core. So I'm going to physical therapy, and I'm trying to remember to do the exercises every day, but I'm not an exercising person. But and my husband had to have a tooth pulled, so I had to take him over and get a tooth pulled. But he's a trooper. He didn't even want to take aspirin. He didn't take anything. He got through it, and he's fine and good to go. So that's that. Yesterday, I went Christmas shopping with my granddaughters, and that's always a joy to my heart to spend time with them. One of them had to work. She has a job, and she had to be to work yesterday. But the oldest and the youngest went with me, and we hit a bunch of stores. They love this store called BAM. It's Books A Million, I think is what BAM stands for. And they are, especially the oldest, she is a bookie. And so they bought some books and some things there, and then we went to some other stores, and we ended up at Joann Fabrics because the youngest one thought that she might like to look at some crafty type things. She likes to draw and things like that. And so while they were looking at that kind of stuff, I, of course, was over in the cross-stitch aisle and checking out their floss sale. And I had not written down in advance what I might need, so I just went through and picked out about 20 different skeins of floss that I thought I might need, and got a couple of other things. And my granddaughter picked out a chalkboard and some colored chalk, and an eraser for her chalkboard. And so then we went on from there, but it was an enjoyable day. We went to Walmart, and I bought a vacuum cleaner for my daughter for her new trailer because her old vacuum cleaner had broken just before she moved. And so we got her a new vacuum cleaner and a couple of storage type units with drawers that you could pull out because she doesn't have very many dressers, and she tends to pile clothes in baskets and stuff. And I said, well, with these, maybe she'd be able to pick up some of her clothes and pick it up a little bit more. She's not a very neat person by any means, but it is what it is. Okay, then let's see what else is going on. I've been watching a lot of FLOSSTUBE. I had been behind for a while, but I got all caught up, but then I didn't watch any yesterday, so I'm probably going to be behind again. But I'm seeing so many new projects and such beautiful work that everybody's doing. And every time I see these things, I'm like so impressed. And then I've noticed that some of the FLOSSTUBers have been getting very philosophical lately, and they're talking about things that they've either seen or that they've heard on a cross-stitch site or whatever. But I know a couple of them were talking about how a lot of people aren't kind to other people, and that is so very true. And somebody else was talking about gratitude, and that's always an important thing. The more you have gratitude for what you actually have in your life, the happier your life will be. Makes sense. And I have a finish. And of course you're going to know it's the cardinals. I got the back stitching done. It's not fully finished, but It's got all the back stitching in it. So there we go. I'm hoping you can, I got it all in there. It's all that stitching is done, all the back stitching is done, and I'm so happy. So now I keep telling myself that I have to finish the back stitching on, I have 2 other projects that need back stitching. My Paula Vaughn, the garden, and also one of my outhouses is all done except for back stitching. So I'm going to have to buckle down and spend some time each day. I think I've got to get Christmas decorations out and get them up and clean my house and stuff like that. And I think I'm going to try to do all that during the next week. And then the following week, I am going to start telling myself that I have to devote maybe an hour a day to some back stitching before I start actually cross stitching on my other projects. I know I'm going to fall off the wagon, but I have to at least put it out there. I put it on video now. I said that that's what I should do. So we'll see what happens with that one. And a few weeks ago, I had said that I had worked on so many projects that it was kind of making me feel anxious because I felt like I'd never get anything completed. And so what I've been doing recently is I've been spending about 5 days on a project when I get it out to stitch on it, unless I really get tired of it before that. And so now I feel like I'm starting to make some progress, and I think that I may, well, maybe not. We've only got another month in the year. I was going to say I may be able to get another finish before the end of the year, but that probably won't happen. But at least I will have made some great strides on some of these projects. So without further ado, this one is the last one that I've gotten out, and I've only worked on it for 2 days maybe, and I didn't do much stitching yesterday because I was shopping, and I really didn't do a whole lot on this the day before, so there's just a little extra on this. And this is my Bayside cottage, and I'm not going to go into all the details about these this time. I'm just kind of going to show you, and maybe on my next video, whatever I bring out, I'll talk more about the materials and everything. But this one, I think everybody knows. This is a Dimensions kit. It's 18 count Aida. And I got a little bit more done. Basically filling in down here at the bottom. So this is the very bottom here. And then I went over here and I started doing some of this here. And I'm going to try to get this down to the bottom here. Then I'm going to go back up here and work my way down. And so there, that's the Bayside cottage. And I worked on Springtime, which is my tulips. And this is just so beautiful. And I've got strings hanging off of here, floss. When I stitch, I tend to do a combination of parking and cross country. And so every time I quit, I've always got some floss hanging. But there's where I am on that. And what I did this last time that I was stitching, I concentrated on the birdhouses. And that was all I stitched on, was just the birdhouses. And I got a lot of the stitching done in there and a lot of the back stitching done there. So the next time I bring this out, I will go over, let's see if I can get this up here. I'll go over here and work on the watering can, and then I can finish up some of the, once I get those stitches in there, then I can go back and work on more of the back stitching, because I know I've got some flowers up here that need some back stitching, but I needed to get some fill in for the watering can before I did that. So that is my plans for the next time I pull this one out. And this last time that I worked on it, I enjoyed it a lot more than I had the previous time. Don't ask me why. I guess just the way I was feeling or something. It's weird. And then my side-by-side, this one here, I got a lot done on it because I was using this one for the cross stitch finish line stitch-a-thon, and so I got a lot of stitching done on that. And it's possible that if I really applied myself, I could finish this, but I'd have to, you know, by the end of the year, but I'd have to put more than a week in on it. I'd have to, and I don't know, I miss working on my other ones if I don't work on them. So I may not do that. I may just go ahead and go to my other projects. And then this is my Woodland Santa, and I got it. He's got a head now and a full beard, and he's got all of his back stitching is done up there on the head. And then I started down on the front of his body there. And oh, and I also, since the last time you saw this, I put the little bird up here. He wasn't up there the last time. So now he's got his other arm comes up over here, and there's going to be another bird over here. So I've got to do that. And then as it comes down, it's going to branch out, and some more of the woodland animals are going to be down there. And I said before when I started this, I have no intention of finishing this for this Christmas. I don't put pressure on myself like that. I learned a long time ago that if you try to tell yourself that you're going to get something done by a specific time, invariably you don't want to stitch on it. So I don't do that anymore. I also made a decision on my, if you remember, and I don't have it out here, but I'm working on the Artisy Shades of Summer, which is a huge project. And I was having so much trouble with that thing. There's so much confetti. I have never gridded fabric before. I have never felt I needed to, but I think that I need to for this big one. So when I was out shopping, I bought a marking pen, and I am going to sit down and put just a little bit of gridding in the on the fabric. Excuse me, we went out to breakfast, and I guess I'm burping my breakfast now. Let me get a drink of water here. Excuse me. So I'm just going to do a little bit of gridding on that, and then when it comes up here to bring it out again, I'm going to try using the gridding and see if that helps me. And if it does, then I will continue to grid as I go. If it doesn't help me, then I'll give it up. But I have a feeling that it may, because I know, especially with the confetti, and you know, if you've worked on a project that has confetti, you'll put in a stitch or two, and then maybe you're going to go down 15 rows and maybe 10 over to the next spot that you want to bring that thread up or that floss up. And if without the gridding, it's tedious to count all those squares. So I'm thinking that if I have the gridding in there, it will make it easier to follow it on the chart and to see exactly where I need to bring that thread up. Because there's been a couple of times where I go down and I count over and I've already got a thread there. And I'm like, okay, which is correct? And I'll recount it, and it comes up the same spot. And so then I've been pulling that thread out and cutting it off because I'm not sure that was the right thread that I put there originally. And I don't want to screw it up too bad. So the gridding may help me. And let's see, I showed you my whips, I showed you my finish. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. Okay. Talk about stash. I have always told myself that I didn't really have any stash. Remember all those magazines I told you that I had that were from back in the 90s? My mother had subscriptions to Cross Stitch magazines, and I had subscriptions to a couple of other Cross Stitch magazines. And I've been going through those magazines, and as you know, I've been showing charts to give away. that I know I'll never stitch, but I've actually been finding a lot of stuff that I will stitch. So I started realizing, you know what, that's stash. So what I started to do, instead of just putting that magazine to one side, I actually started tearing those magazines down too, and taking the ones that I think I may at some point want to stitch and putting them into a sheet protector and piling them up, and eventually maybe what I'll do is put them into a notebook, a 3-ring binder, and I'm considering that those are now stash. And I think I counted them earlier today just to see how much that I could say I had in my stash, and I think I've got about 14 or 15, and I probably have 30 to 40 more magazines to go through, so I know I'll come up with more. And then I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, how much longer can I expect to live? And how many of these do I think that I can complete each year? And I'm going, I've got stash, probably stuff that I will never get to stitching. So, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my very best. So that brings me into my plans. And last time I said that I didn't really have a whole lot of plans, but I think what I'm going to do is, starting in January, I am going to try to plan on starting one new chart per month. And there may be some other little things in between there, because there are some sales on Cross Stitch Finish Line that I think I would like to participate in, and I'm not sure whether items that are already in my stash will fit those yet. I haven't got that far, but that's something I'm thinking about, just as a little plan ahead. Also, I hear you guys talk about Hobby Lobby all the time, and I'm not knowing anything about a Hobby Lobby anywhere near around here. We have Joann's. We have, I think it's a regional store called Pat Catan's. For many, many years, there was just one store. And then all of a sudden, they started opening new ones. And I know that there's been like at least 3 that have opened up in the area in the last couple of years. And some are bigger than other ones. The original store that I had always gone to is rather a small store compared to some of these new ones that they've opened. But what they did was they had never carried fabric before, and they started carrying fabric, and what I noticed was now they have less and less cross stitch. They used to have all kinds of charts and magazines and kits and everything that, you know, the hoops and tons and tons of floss, and it's disappearing. They don't have any, well, I don't want to say none, but there's barely any cross-stitch books anymore. The amount of kits that they have has gone way down. They still have the floss, but the accessories, the hoops and things like that, the magnetic boards like I used to put my chart on, all that is going away. The magnifiers have totally disappeared. They're just, it's like cross stitch is saying bye-bye in Pat Catan's. And Joann's, it depends on what store you're in. I was in the Joann's in Sandusky, Ohio yesterday, and they didn't have a whole heck of a lot of cross-stitch stuff. But then today I went to the Joann's in Elyria, Ohio, and they had quite a bit more. So it just depends on the Joann's that you're at. We do have Michael's, but our local Michael's that was in Elyria closed years ago. So to get to a Michael's, it's probably about a 35 to 40 minute drive, and actually the traffic over there by where that shopping center is so nuts that when you take into account the traffic, you might as well figure it's 50 minutes to get there. The area is just, it's growing up, and that means more and more and more traffic. I'm still kind of out in the boonies, but to get to any of these places, you got to go where the traffic is. But I went online and I looked up Hobby Lobby, and I thought, okay, I'm going to see if there's one, you know, anywhere around here. And I found one. It's in Medina, Ohio, and it is about an hour's drive from my house. And I talked my sister-in-law into going with me to, she doesn't craft, but she likes to go for rides. And I told her there, you know, who knows what other stores might be over there, and we can do lunch. So tomorrow, after I have physical therapy, we are going to head to Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to get to check it out. So I am really looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. And my sister-in-law is a talker. She will talk to anybody, anywhere, so we should have a really fun day. Okay, what else? Oh, my anniversary is tomorrow. 39 years. So that too. So let's see. I have some winners from my chart giveaway, magazine chart giveaway. And actually, I haven't, what did I do with that piece of paper? I'm not real prepared today, somewhat, but so I'm going to have to, there's not a lot of people that are interested in these charts, probably because these are old and the style is probably not what people are wanting to cross stitch today. But then again, you know, I find things, so I'm sure it just depends on what we're showing. And wait until you see something I'm going to show you today. So I am going to put a 1 by this one person's name, and I'm going to put a 2 by the other one, and then I'm going to put a 1 on this piece of paper and a 2 on this piece of paper, and I'm going to fold these up so that I can't see which one has the 1 and which one has the 2. And I'm going to kind of shuffle them around here. And this one that landed on my laptop is going to be the winner. And let me put that one over there so I don't get them confused. And let me get those charts out here. And, all right, this one here, nobody really wanted that. So, well, I'll put that away for the next time. All right, the Celtic design, which was this one, and I'm not going to take it all apart and show you the whole thing because there's a whole bigger design there. I had one person that said they would like that, and that was yarn friendly. So yarn friendly, if you will get a hold of me and give me your email address, or I can give you mine, or we'll work something out and I can get your mailing address. I can get that mailed out. And nobody wanted this one. And if anybody sees this today and didn't see these last time and wants it, then let me know. And then the Christmas ornaments. This is the one where 2 people wanted it. And the winner is number 1. And number 1 is Threads All Over. So, Threads All Over. I can't remember whose address I have and who I don't. So, just get a hold of me and we will get that to you. And I have some more to show. And I have a really special one in here today. You guys are not going to believe it. I didn't believe it. I opened that magazine up and I went, oh, So I'm saving that one for last. All right, some of these, there are more than one. It's just the way it comes up. So I'm going to show them quickly. Let me know what you're interested in. Here we have the Indian Maiden. I hope that you're able to see that. If you are interested in the Indian Maiden, let me know. The next one, this one is for a baby. And there's actually some charts on the back here for some herbs. So those are there too. But here is the, it's to put a lock of your baby's hair and the name and the birth date, and then the little ribbon there with the lock of baby's hair. I think that's really cute, but I don't have any babies. And no expectation of any anytime soon. So if you'd like that, tell me, let me know. And this one, this is just too cute. And I think this would be a really cute one if you've got some kids or something that might like this. But anyways, they set it up to go around a candle, but you could do anything with this. I think that's just too cute, that skunk smelling the flower. So if you would like to do the little skunk, then let me know. And this one is, I believe this is, it's got, this was a grand prize winning white work egg. And it's actually very pretty. And there's also the chart on here for some other eggs, but not all of them. But here is the white work egg. I hope that's focusing in there. Sometimes I can't tell. Anybody interested in doing the white work egg? Let me know. That's not my cup of tea, but you know, we're all different. We all like different things. All right, this one is, it's set up to put on the cover of a journal, but it would also work well in a frame. And it's called the potting shed. And I'm going to kind of turn it this way so that you can actually see it. I can't tell if I'm level or not. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Very colorful, lots of flowers. But it's cute. So if you'd like to do the potting shed, let me know. And then this one is a sampler. It's a floral sampler. It features specialty stitches and soft pastel threads, and they've done it on a cream colored linen. And then it calls for a molded glass rose charm to put on it. And they have all the specialty stitches shown here. But there's, let's see if I can get it. And you can tell it says 1998. So this came out of a 1998 magazine. And I'll put that up just closer so you can see that. And then I'll just come up a little bit. So you can see all those different beautiful, beautiful stitches. I generally don't mess with specialty stitches. That's why I would not stitch this. I think it's very pretty though. So if you would like to do that flower sampler, let me know. Okay, now, this is the big thing. I was going through the magazine and I turned the page and I saw this, Nora. And I went, oh, is that Nora Corbett? Corbett? Whatever. And so then I looked at these charts that showed here and I thought, oh yeah, those kind of have that look. So what this is, this magazine is from April of 1998. It was Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine. And their featured designer was Nora Corbett. And there it is. So there is an article here about her. And then there is a design and the chart. And here is the design. And I'll hold it up closer there and pan down it in a minute. It is called Gathering Eggs. I'll hold it up a little closer. And then I'll come up and show you the rest of it. And it's like, at least I recognized the name this time when I was going through the magazines and found that spring garden spot that I was working on. I was very new to coming back to cross stitch. At that point, I had never seen a FLOSSTUBE video. I never knew there were cross stitch groups online or anything like that. And I just thought that was just pretty, and I started to stitch it. And then later on, when I was looking at it one day and I had seen some FLOSSTUBE videos and I had heard people talking and everything, and I looked down and it said designer Paula Vaughn, and I went, oh my God, I'm doing a Paula Vaughn. I was like, I had no clue, not a clue, you know. Anyways, this is an old Nora Corbett. I'm sure that there are some people out there that are going to want this. I have no clue whether this chart was released for general, you know, to buy this, or whether this was only in the magazine or what. I don't know. It's called Gathering Eggs. There it is again. But if you would like to stitch this, just tell me either Gathering Eggs or Nora or however you want to put it in there so that I know. And along with this, there is, let me find it, there is another chart here. The picture for it is not here, but there is, and it's just the chart, but it's for, it's a floral picture mat, and this is from a designer named Camille Harrison. But anyways, that's, I'll just show that chart because it's old. But anyways, that's there too because it's on the back of one of the pages. So there is that. And as I said, if you want to do that Nora Corbett, let me know. Okay, I think that I have pretty much covered, I covered up my notes now. I think I've pretty much covered everything that I was going to. I have many more magazine charts already pulled out, ready to go. As I've said before, these will be folded. They'll be put into a business size envelope. I will mail outside of the United States. Just let me know if you're interested in them. And the ones that people don't show an interest in, what I will do is I will put those to one side, and eventually, after I've gone through all the magazines, I'll start rotating back through if I'm still doing this then, or anybody's still interested then. And we'll just rotate back through because somebody might be watching then that does have an interest in it. I know my interests change as time goes by, and I'm sure everybody else's does too. So that is everything that I've got. I will be back again in 2 weeks, and until then, happy stitching. Bye.